Really? I gotta read that. Let me rotate it. Okay. Is that better? Hey everybody, give me just a second. I'm trying to see if that looks better. Sometimes it doesn't let me rotate right. Give me just a second. Oh. Hold on. Let's see if it moved. Lonnie, am I sideways or am I upside down? Okay, there we go. Alright. Alright, I'm going live tonight. I used to do live feeds all the time. And a lot of people, they actually got a little inspiration. So tonight I really want to make a quick, I'm going to do like what Jeff Bellies does, a 5-minute strong. Hey Dale, hey Lonnie, hey Jeff. I want to explain to some people what it means for success. And I was really thinking hard about this with all the books and everything I read. But, you know, it's basically what I take off my own life with what I've gone through. Success is something that you have to have failure in, okay? And a good example of it is you work so hard and, you know, when you finally have that success you want, it's not just I have success, it's you learned everything getting to where you wanted to be for success. Like me, one of the first buildings, my only thing I wanted to do, I set a small goal because I never thought it would be possible, but just to open the doors of one of my businesses. And to me, that was success. But it took a lot of hard work to get there. The lottery is a good example of how it doesn't matter if you do not go through the routine of success and failure, failure and success, you will never understand and know the meaning of success. People that win the lottery, I don't know if people know this or not, but almost 95% of the people that win the lottery lose all their money within the first 10 years. Like literally, they do not understand what taxes are. They don't understand, you know, all the different, you know, they don't know how to invest because they never learned it. All right. Now, when we teach our kids how to invest money, when we teach our kids as they're growing up the value of $1 and you know what it means, you know, you can look at it as if grandma gives you $20 for your birthday, you're like, yeah, I got 20 bucks. But then she gives you another 20, or somebody else gives you another 20 after you cut the grass or something, right? I always ask people, what is more important, the $20 from grandma or the $20 that you did for mowing grass? Because it's 20 bucks, right? It still spends the same. There's no difference in it except one. The 20 bucks that came from your grandma you never earned. It was just given. And you take that money because you don't have any sense of responsibility with it because you're like, hey, I got 20 bucks. Let me go spend it. It's like somebody that finds money on the street. Hey, I found this. Let me go spend it. But the $20 you earned, you don't want to spend. It's almost like, that's my 20. I earned that. And that's how we got to look at success. When you go through success, if somebody just gives you success, hey, you know, here, if you're a trust fund baby or somebody that has it good most of your life, I've seen multi-millionaires who worked all the way up and their kids lose it all after the person's gone because their kids were spoiled. Their kids never learned how to be successful. Rockefeller is a good example. J.D. Rockefeller, you know, he created an empire, okay, but he worked it every single day. You know, Dale Carnegie created the steel industry, but he worked it every day, and he knew what it was worth. You know, I've got one of my mentors, you know, I always say he's still in the trenches with us, but he's still out there working every day. He doesn't have to, but he understands the hard work it takes to get where we need to be. And in always being out there, he's earned the trust and respect of the people on his team and people around him because he never stopped. Warren Buffett has never stopped. He still works in the field. He still works in the trenches. You know, so they know what success is, and they learned from their failures. The only difference is the more failures you learn from, the better you can become. Okay? It's like starting a race, starting to run, you know. When you're a kid, you know, doing a cross-country match or whatever, you're going to stop. I mean, you just have this thing in your head. You don't know how to continue on. But if you keep going and you learn from each one of your mistakes and you learn how to run a little bit faster, pace yourself, get your breathing under control, and you start learning all the basic fundamentals, then all of a sudden when you win a race, it means that much more. But if no one else is in the race and you walk across the finish line, it means nothing. And in our society today, we've gotten away from, you know, how success works. We basically want to give everybody a trophy. We basically want to pat everybody back and say it's okay. We basically want to make everybody an equal, but that's not reality. Reality comes about, yes, there were bullies in school, but we want to stop bullying now. But the more we press at something that's common for the human nature, the more we screw things up, because we do not learn what it takes to get there. A lot of those people that were bullied became the CEOs of companies. They became smarter than everybody else. They got the most beautiful women, Why? Because they knew what it was like to be bullied. And the bullies themselves, nothing. They didn't go anywhere. Because they didn't have that driving force of, I need to be better than what my bully thinks I am. This is not about bullies. This is about success. It's about not quitting every time things get hard. It's about living outside your box. It's about doing what no one else will do. There's the thing in GoPro. I think it's GoPro. He was talking about a business he was in, and he went to a conference for his business. And he saw thousands and thousands of people in there, and they're like, oh, rooting, cheering, and everything else. And he asked one guy, one of his uplines, mentors, and he said, there's so many people that love this. How do you become successful? I mean, can you do it with all those people? He goes, keep coming back each year and pay attention. And the guy's like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah, there's all kinds of people out there, but they quit. They give up, and they never come back. It's the minority that keeps coming back day after day, because they know you have to learn, that you have to push yourself. You know that you've got to get to where you want to be. And next thing you know, down the line, you're the one that's on the stage, and you look out at the audience, and they're not the same people they were when you first were the person in the audience. And it's because you didn't quit. It's because you didn't give up. You didn't go with the naysayers. There's so many people out there, they want to give you their opinion. Oh, this can't be done. Don't do this. You can't get that done. Look what Jackie Robinson did. Who was the the long jump hadn't been broken since the 1800s in the Olympics. I might have a little exaggeration on that. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, because everybody kept saying, it can't be done, it can't be done. You can never jump any higher. Well, finally, a person jumped that. And it's funny, because once that one person jumped and set a new record that had never been broken, all of a sudden people are like, hey, that can be done. And so they start breaking the records. But the problem is, why didn't they do it before? Because it took somebody else to do it, because they were not willing to do it. They kept hearing, it can't be done, it can't be done. No, don't do this, it's impossible, it's impossible. And they all gave up. But one person broke the record. Now, if no one at any time was told that the record couldn't be broken, believe it or not, I truly believe that those type of records will be broken year after year after year, because no one tells you can't. However, in our society, so many people, he was the football player. Fran was the football player, wasn't he? Anyway, back to what I was saying. A football player, everybody wants these great scholarships. Now, my brother-in-law, he loves football more than anything else. And he practiced every day. He put his entire self into it. And what happened in the end was he worked so hard for it that he hurt his knees and couldn't go to become a professional. But all those professionals out there, they didn't just get on the team because they knew somebody. They had to work for it. They had to be better at something. They had to keep going above what they thought they could do and venture into the land of unknowing. But know that in the end, it will turn out right. It takes time. Time, patience, wisdom. If you keep doing the same mistakes over and over again and not learning from your fails, I just say you're an idiot. Because you're never going to get anywhere if you do not change your situation. If you do not do something a little different. It doesn't have to be much. But, yeah, GoPro Small. Go Small Business. Yeah, he's with our company. It's all about mindset. And when we get around people that say you can't do it, you can't do it, you can't do it, well, guess what? Eventually, you're going to convince yourself it can't be done. I mean, look at all these Olympic athletes. Look at Michael Phelps, for example, He didn't listen to all the naysayers, went out and, broke a lot of records. Look at Michael Jordan, sitting there, one of the best basketball players of all time. Do you think he just became great because somebody said you're great? No, he had to earn it. He worked for it. And I know people give him a hard time now, but guess what? He learned to invest his money. Now he's part of Nike. He's part of Hanes and all this other stuff because he learned what to do by looking at other people's failures and his own failure. So failures are part of the greatest thing in your life. They are. It's simple as that. You have to look at failures as, oh, right? I mean, seriously, you got to cheer it on. I failed again. Because now you know to change it. Now you know to make simple, Hubble telescope. How many of y'all ever knew about the Hubble telescope? All right? When they first launched the Hubble telescope into space, to get all these, it was blurred. And what happened was they had to send something up years later to make one small correction, literally like a millimeter of a correction, to take away the blurriness. So just one minute detail that you change can change your entire life. Yes, fail forward. me and Dale read all the same books. But the thing about it is, if we don't learn from the past, we failed in the past. America is the greatest country in the world to where you can sit back and say, I failed. And the reason why is because you can keep going. And I always tell everybody, the best thing about competition, the best thing about the race, the best thing about, having a purpose is not the finish line and it's not the starting line. It's what you do in the between there that makes you great. Because once you get the finish line, you're done. And at the starting line, you don't know what you have to do in order to be better. And that is what we need to convince people. That's what you need to know. When I tell people they matter all the time, I really mean it. But I also see people, they know they're not doing anything. They know that they're not going to be successful because they've, done the work involved. Why do Marines earn the title Marine? Because we have to go through a boot camp. We have to go through our schooling. Once we get to the fleet, we're still learning the tricks. I couldn't join the Marine Corps and go right to combat. I would not know what I was doing. So your success comes when you start opening your heart and opening your mind to learn from your failures and also learn from other people's failures. Brian Krellers always says, I don't want to read books on successful people. I want to read books on the failures of people, to know to never do that or to change just a little bit of what they did. Because if that's what we did in America. Buddy of mine, Don McKinley, and I went over to his museum in Quincy, and he showed me simple things like spurs or the combine, and he had a diagram. In the last 100 years, we have gone from putting one seed in the ground to being able to harvest, having a combine that can do 24 rows within 10 minutes of what would usually take weeks and months to plant a seed by hand. But why in this last 100 years has America been successful? It's because people have the privilege and opportunity to learn and fail to make something better. We're never going to, that's what it's all about. It's about learning from the failures or improving on what you've already done. And I forgot how many patents he said for something as simple as like a saddle, or a patent as simple as like a corn picker. It went from doing it by hand to a machine. Why? Because people kept adding patents. They kept improving it. They kept changing it. They had the competition. They wanted to be bigger. They wanted to be better. They wanted to make money. Whatever it is. Success came on the backs of those that failed. What do our parents always teach us? They want to teach us certain things not to do because they did it. Or somebody else did it. And since they did it, they don't want us to fail like they did. So they tell us what to do or how to do it. And it's up to us to kind of change things a little bit so we do not follow in their footsteps as far as what failure is. And that's what parents take pride in. So if you're out there and you're looking for success, okay, all the books in the world, all they mean one thing. Yes, they can be a tool to show you, maybe different ways of doing things. But the ultimate goal is get up and keep going. It doesn't matter what you read, doesn't matter what you do. What matters is you get up, keep going, and don't give up. It's simple as that. Hard work will pay off. And if there's no hard work, if it's easy, then you shouldn't do it. If it's one of those things, if it's hard and complicated and it's going to take time, that's worth it. As much as we hate to say it, that's worth it. Why? Because, like I said, you're going for success. So success is doing what others refuse to do. Success is not listening to the naysayers. Success is the points between the start and the finish. So from point A to point B, success would be in the middle, because we're learning from our failures. And that's what we need to keep instilling in our children. You know, there's no such thing as everybody gets an award. If everybody gets an award, why try? Where does the, effort to be better, to know more, to do more? I'm sure if Michael Jordan, when he was a kid, was giving a participation trophy, things may have turned out different, because he wouldn't have had a reason to become the best. Sure, we're going to fail, and we might have to change up what we're doing. But success comes in the middle of A and B, start and finish. That's where the success is. That's also where you make the greatest friends. You have the greatest challenges. And when it's all over, like when I was in the Marine Corps, I actually missed the Marine Corps. I missed being in the Marine Corps. I hated it when I was in, but now I missed it. Why? Because it's over with. Now all of a sudden it's like, hey, wait a minute. I was just complaining for no reason. But technically I loved every minute of it. So that, that's kind of how it goes. If you don't stick with something, you're not going to be successful. If you keep, going from one job to another job, you're never going to get the raises. If you keep going from one network marketing company to another, not give time to simmer like a nice roast that you keep on the crock pot for hours and hours and hours. You don't just pull out the raw meat and eat it. It takes time. It takes hard work. It takes effort. It takes blood, sweat, and tears. Sometimes it even takes you to have to let go of friends and family that don't believe in you. Because if you let those negativities in, you're never going to see success. And when you're so close, I can tell you this, you're literally one thing away from success. But then what do? Easy. You go back and do something else. But you never have to worry about doing that same thing again that got you that success. Sure, records will always be broken. Sure, people will write more books. But the main goal is, remember this, don't get discouraged. Don't quit. Don't give up. Don't blink. Keep their course. And if you believe it and nobody else does, still go off your belief system. Because you know what? They don't know. They don't care. They're just giving you opinions. I've had a lot of people, and I always do this in my meetings, how many of your friends always think they know everything? That you go to them and you ask them questions, but they're not an expert in the field, but they sure are going to give you an opinion. And those opinions can basically create failure in your life. But you got to look at it. Did they ever try? No. But they sure can give you advice. I never take advice from people that quit. I never listen to people that they think it's okay to quit or it's impossible. You can't become the best, and you cannot become successful in life at anything you do if you give up at the drop of a dime. So remember that. Failure is a positive, because every time you get back up, you're going to learn from that failure. And to me, that is what success is. And each and every one of you is successful. You just have to find it in yourself and not use excuses. The military says, I can't say that, but, excuses are like, I better watch it, noses. No. Excuses are like feet. Everybody has one, but they all stink. Makes sense. So if you have excuses in your life, you've already failed. You have to get past the ordinary to get to the extraordinary. And don't give up, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Because that's what's going to make you great. That's what's going to make all of us great. It's the challenges we put on ourselves. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know all that because I thought it was pretty cool. And like I said, if I'm ever able to motivate anybody or help anybody, that's my job in life, I guess, is to be the cheerleader for everybody so that they can get where I'm at. And the last, and I'll lead off with this, it's not about you. The more people that you help, the more people that you support, the more people that, you help get to the top, or you recognize, or you believe in, when they get to the top, not all, but then they'll pull you up, the ones that are grateful for you pushing them to the top. You let them climb on your shoulders, just like our parents do and everything else. I love the saying, we stand on the backs of giants to see the world. Actually, that's my saying. We stand on the backs of giants to see the world. Why do we stand on the backs of giants? Because the people that came before us gave us the opportunity. Now, we don't see what they all went through, but they let us get on their shoulders so we can see farther than they ever saw. So success is a choice. Are you the person that's going to get on the back of a giant so you can see farther? Or are you the person that's like, yeah, I'm okay, I give up, I'm done. I don't even hang around people that do that. I don't like hanging around negative people. And everybody I'm around is a very positive influence in my life. Just like in beers. Anyway, didn't mean to bore you tonight, everybody, but I hope you guys have a great night. Love seeing each and every one of you. And like I said, if I can ever say a prayer for somebody, if I can ever help somebody or give advice, you know, if you always just need a friend or something, never hesitate to call me, because each and every one of you is awesome. Anyway, drop me a line sometime. Let me know how you're all doing, and I will talk with you later. Thanks for being on with me tonight. All right, everybody. Talk to you soon.